Good morning. Welcome to another fresh edition of your breakfast from Leadership Television Inside Nigeria. Today is Tuesday, March 11, 2025. And of course, we are on to a fresh edition of what the papers are saying this Tuesday. My name is Winifred Ubebo, your host of the program. As we normally do on the program, we like to flag off with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Besides Leadership, we also have other papers on our lineup for review this Tuesday. We have THISDAY, we have Nigerian Tribune, The Guardian, and Vanguard newspapers. We'll see what they are offering on their cover this Tuesday. Let's start with Leadership newspaper. Leadership says ahead of 2027, PDP Labour Party caged in court as opposition coalition eyes SDP. Ahead of 2027, PDP Labour Party caged as opposition coalition eyes SDP. El-Rufai takes first shot, joins party. We won't lose sleep over his exit, APC. Aregbesola, Malami, Adamu, others may follow. Atiku hesitant, fears supporters reaction. Kickers to the leading story on leadership this Tuesday. Ahead of 2027, PDP Labour Party caged as opposition coalition eyes SDP. Incidentally, that is the story we have on that. Some of the papers we have on our lineup this morning. We're already talking about 2027. Of course, leadership fires that for Sabo. Still on leadership, resign within 48 hours or be impeached. APC tells Fubara. It will be recalled that Fubara had actually asked the lawmakers for a meeting to meet with the lawmakers following the fallout of the Supreme Court judgment. However, in reaction, the lawmaker says resign within 48 hours of being impeached. APC tells Fubara. The lawmakers were said to have defected to APC. However, the Supreme Court ruled otherwise. U.S. government ends 83% of USAID programs. Is records of electricity supply to Gaza. Lassa fever death toll hits 98. We move towards the masthead of leadership. Lombardy agreement will enhance FCT's growth. Wiki. And on the business boss of leadership this Tuesday, crude for Naira. Federal government counters NNPC, says policies still in place. We'll take snipers of that story because it's trending story yesterday. Of course, to be recalled that NNPC has been giving crude for private refiners, including Dangote in Naira equivalent. However, NNPC said yesterday that it was going to stop doing that. And federal government has countered that directive from NNPC. Let's see what the story is saying. On the business boss of leadership, crude for Naira, federal government counters NNPC, says policy still in place. The federal government has confirmed that the Naira for crude oil swap deal remains in place, countering recent reports of its termination at the end of this month. This follows reports that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, has ended the agreement with local refiners, including the Dangote refinery. Earlier, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, said the agreements for the Naira for crude oil swap deal with domestic refiners, including Dangote refinery and other private operators, would end at the end of March 2025. The story on that business boss today. Crude for Naira, federal government counters NNPC, says policy still in place. With that, we move to the story about the masthead of leadership. Top global business leaders following leadership awards on Financial Times. The story runs on page 7 of leadership newspaper. Is on that note, we move to the page 3, where we have our stand. Today's stand is on trust deficit in banks. Trust deficit in banks. Recently, the Ikeja Special Offences Court sentenced a Nigerian banker to 4 years and 2 months in prison. This ruling came after the banker was arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) on fraud charges. Earlier in 2020, the FCT Police Command paraded gang members, including a bank employee, Larry Ehizo, 30, Timothy Joe, 21, Prince Obina, 24, and Elijah David, 19, for attempting to rob an old generation bank in Papi, a suburb in Abuja. Snipers from that stand today on leadership, trust deficit in banks. Our stand is the editorials of the paper for the day. Like I said, it's like a collective, is what the paper is saying, talking points of the paper for the day. From our stand, we move to the back page where we have Tuesday column with Abdurrauf Aliyu. Aliyu is writing on regulating Nigeria's oil future. Today, Tuesday, 11th March 2025. Regulating Nigeria's oil future. In quotes, the hacking ruling is a strong testament to Nigeria's commitment to upholding the sanctity of contracts. Quote from that Tuesday column, regulating Nigeria's oil future. Tuesday column with Abdurrauf Aliyu. Before we leave the back page, let's bet at Ghana must go. And this Shehu Sani news says El-Rufai has no political relevance. Shehu Sani. And guess what Ghana must go replied? Twitter politician. Interesting, might say. Well, however, for continuation of these stories today on leadership, don't forget to log on to the website of Leadership newspaper, www.leadership.ng. From leadership, we move over to the next paper on our menu, and that is THISDAY. THISDAY today, Tuesday, March 11, 2025, says Bagudu says federal government has kept to 5% ways and means. Agent targets 77% annual growth. Bagudu says federal government has kept to 5% ways and means. Agent targets 7% annual growth. Budget Minister says Tinubu appreciates Nigerian support for economic reforms. State stability in forest markets, downward trend in inflation, evidence of reforms gains. Insists security remains key challenge despite boost in oil production. Leading story on this Tuesday, March 11, 2025. And above that, presidency, El-Rufai's inordinate ambition that is destined to fail made him leave APC. Presidency, in reaction to El-Rufai's reported defection to SDP yesterday, says El-Rufai's inordinate ambition that is destined to fail made him leave APC. Ex-Kaduna governor insists current situation in ruling party unhealthy. We won't lose sleep in Kaduna, says state party chairman. Look, man, you should have allowed us join SDP as group based on ongoing negotiations. The story continues underneath that header. Above that, Ogunlewe condemns Akpoti Uduaghan's suspension, says her beauty is the problem. What another angle to the saga currently brewing between Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Ogunlewe condemns Akpoti Uduaghan's suspension, saying that her beauty is the problem. This story runs on page 28 of this Tuesday. And above the masthead of this day, we have Naira for crude D. We are renegotiating, not cancelling agreements, says NNPC. Naira for crude D. We are renegotiating, not cancelling agreements, says NNPC. Discloses 48 million barrels of oil supplied Dangote since October 2024. Zach Adeteji led committee says federal government not ruling termination of deal. Underneath that story, U.S. open to minerals partnerships with Democratic Republic of Congo. The story runs on page 24 of this day. Is on that note we conclude review of front headline stories on this day newspaper this Tuesday. Don't forget to log into the website of this day for continuation of these headline stories. www.thisdaylive.com. From this day, we still talking politics as we move to the next paper we have on our lineup this Tuesday, and that is Vanguard. Rivers APC factions at war over threat to impeach Fubara. APC factions at war over threat to impeach Fubara. Resign honorable now or be impeached disgracefully. Okocha-led APC tells Fubara, says governor disrespected Tinubu. You are an outlaw, Emeka's APC tells Okocha. Fubara's peace move phase as state lawmakers shun government house meeting. Assembly issues arrest warrant on RSIEC chairman, that is Rivers State Independent Electoral Committee chairman Enebeli, 4 others. Ada Judge to Fubara Amewule, stop all threats, ultimatums, inflammatory statements. Group issues 7-day notice to Fubara to sue Amewule, 26 other lawmakers over perjury. Kickers to the leading story on Vanguard. Still talking politics. APC factions at war over threat to impeach Fubara. Leading story today on Vanguard newspaper. El-Rufai says why I dumped APC for SDP. KEG takes over electricity market regulations as Kogi targets 70 megawatts generation. Another need, we have Natasha Gates goings on in the Senate, unfortunate, coming from Abamoro. Natasha Gates goings on in the Senate, unfortunate, Abamoro. But we are resolving them, he says. Jumping into APC does not guarantee you a ticket. And in sports, 2026 World Cup qualifier, Super Eagles open camp for Rwanda clash. That takes us to the stories about the masthead of Vanguard this Tuesday. Crude, NNPCL, Dangote renegotiating fresh supply contracts. Digital rights, EU, NBA, others tackle federal government over misuse of cybercrime law. Tinubu says, I removed fuel subsidy to protect unborn generation. PDP crisis, Supreme Court reserves judgment on Ayahu's appeal. That is the last story on the cover of Vanguard this Tuesday. For continuation of this news, don't forget to log in to the website of Vanguard. Even as we move to the next paper we have on our menu this Tuesday, and that is Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune has a different story altogether at its main cover. Let's see and go to Nigerian Tribune's cover. It says government attack 4 Ondo communities, 20 feared killed, 14 bodies recovered, police source. I'll take that again. Government attack 4 Ondo communities, 20 feared killed, 14 bodies recovered, according to police source. Naira for crude policy remains in place, Adedeji, chairman technical subcommittee. Over 48 million barrels of crude oil supplied to Dangote in 6 months, coming from NNPCL. Rivers APC orders Fubara to resign within 48 hours or face impeachment. Assembly issues arrest warrant for electoral chief. Students halt vehicular movement on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway protesting disappearance of LASU graduate. Students halt vehicular movement on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway protesting disappearance of LASU graduate. El-Rufai joins SDP. He hints at more defections to challenge APC. His ambition inordinate with failed presidency. Stakeholders weigh implications for APC as governor's political future, northern voters. Moving to above the masthead of Nigerian Tribune, federal government stays within legal borrowing limit despite economic challenges, Bagudu, Minister of Budget. Natasha Ezekwesili wants Akpabio to step aside, Barau to preside over urgent Senate session. Wants ICPC to take over alleged sexual harassment probe. Court orders Senate President orders to fight defense in Natasha's suit. This also concludes the review of front headline stories on Nigerian Tribune this Tuesday. Don't forget to log into the website of Nigerian Tribune for more stories. www.tribuneonlineng.com. With that, we also conclude review of front headline stories on Nigerian Tribune, even as we move to the next paper on our lineup, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian is talking telcos. It says consumers groan as data depletion, exploitation complicates telcos tariff hike. Consumers groan as data depletion, exploitation complicates telcos tariff hike. As usual, we have illustrations for that leading story on The Guardian this Tuesday. And it says, it asks, how much internet data do you use? A video game or game update approximates 20 to 60 GB gig. An HD movie approximates 4 GB. And we have a 6-page PDF goes for 5.9 MB. Streaming audio 60 MB per hour. Sending, receiving emails 40 MB per 100 emails. Scrolling, posting on social media 90 MB per hour. Online gaming 200 MB per hour. Making a video call in SD equates to 340 MB per hour. Running a smart home security camera takes 2 GB per hour. Making a video call in HD 2 GB per hour is what it takes, and web browsing 180 MB per hour. This is to tell you how much internet data you use as you scroll or as you download that video. You should know the data that is going in for it. These are the illustrations to the leading story on The Guardian this Tuesday. Consumers groan as data depletion, exploitation complicates telco's tariff hike. Underneath that, opposition camp swears against Tinubu as El-Rufai dumps APC for SDP. Federal government approves $1 billion to tackle child maternal mortality. NCDC confirms loss of UK returnee to Lassa fever as death toll hits 98. Obi orders seek better approach to national security. Boa orders defy forest crisis, post over 500 billion naira profit. Promised Land regularizes Proverse license amid SEC directives. The story runs on business page 18 of The Guardian. Promised Land regularizes Proverse license amid SEC directives. From there, we'll move towards the masthead of The Guardian. Crude, NNPCL says 84 million barrels to Dangote, denies Naira D stoppage. Court moves hearing of Natasha's suit against suspension to March 25. Resign or be impeached, Rivers APC tells Fubara. It's on this note we conclude review of front headline stories on The Guardian this Tuesday, March 11, 2025. Don't forget to log into the website of The Guardian for continuation of these headline stories. Well, viewers, also on this note, we've come to the end of today's Inside Nigeria, where we look at front headline stories of some select newspapers. For more, don't forget to log into the website of Leadership Newspaper to read more stories. My name is Winifred Igbobo. I also look forward to having you on this same station, this same program, same time, same station tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.